The Proud Boys are a far-right, male-only organization founded in 2016 by Gavin McInnes, co-founder of Vice Media. The group describes itself as Western chauvinist, celebrating what it claims are traditional Western values, while rejecting what it sees as political correctness, feminism, and progressive social movements. In practice, the Proud Boys have become known for their involvement in political violence, street brawls, and connections to white nationalist and extremist circles, despite their public insistence that they are not racist. Members often appear in black and yellow polo shirts, using fraternity-like rituals and a militaristic identity to foster loyalty. The organization gained widespread attention during the Trump era, particularly after Donald Trump, in a 2020 presidential debate, told them to stand back and stand by. Their most notorious involvement came on January 6, 2021, when numerous Proud Boys played a leading role in the storming of the U.S. Capitol. Several high-ranking members have since been convicted of seditious conspiracy and other serious crimes. The America First movement is a far-right nationalist campaign led by commentator Nick Fuentes, who gained influence in the late 2000s and 10s through live streaming and online activism. Emerging from the remnants of the alt-right, the movement appeals largely to younger men, often referred to as groypers, who spread memes, videos, and confrontational rhetoric online. Its ideology promotes strict immigration restrictions, opposition to multiculturalism, rejection of liberalism, and a foreign policy centered on selective engagement and neutrality. Unlike paramilitary organizations, America First operates primarily as a cultural and political force. Its strategy has focused on pressuring mainstream conservative politics by staging disruptions at Republican events and criticizing figures and institutions deemed insufficiently nationalist. Supporters frame themselves as defenders of Western civilization, but watchdog groups widely classify the movement as extremist due to its anti-Semitism, racist undertones, and alignment with white nationalist ideas. The group's most visible outlet is the annual America First Political Action Conference, AFPAC, designed as an alternative to mainstream conservative gatherings. AFPAC attracts a dedicated following and highlights the movement's ambition to shape future right-wing politics. The Oath Keepers are a far-right, anti-government militia group founded in 2009 by Stuart Rhodes, a former Army paratrooper and Yale Law School graduate. The organization draws heavily from current and former military, law enforcement, and first responders who pledge to resist what they see as unconstitutional government actions. Members often frame themselves as protectors of liberty, claiming they will refuse orders related to gun confiscation, martial law, or federal overreach. Throughout the 2010s, the Oath Keepers gained visibility by showing up armed at protests, political rallies, and high-profile standoffs, such as the Bundy Ranch conflict in Nevada. Their presence was meant to intimidate government authorities and to present the group as defenders of citizens against perceived tyranny. They became a prominent voice in conspiracy-driven politics, drawing followers from the broader militia and Patriot movements. Their most notorious involvement came during the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack, when members played a leading role in breaching security. Several leaders, including Rhodes, were later convicted of seditious conspiracy and given long prison terms. Patriot Front is a white supremacist and neo-fascist organization founded in 2017 by Thomas Rousseau after the collapse of Vanguard America, the group involved in the Charlottesville rally. It rebranded white nationalism with a focus on disciplined image control, replacing chaotic demonstrations with regimented marches and slick propaganda. Members wear identical khakis, masks, and carry American flags, creating a militaristic aesthetic designed to project unity and legitimacy. The group promotes a vision of America as an exclusively white nation, rejecting multiculturalism, democracy, and pluralism. It cloaks its message in patriotic rhetoric, attempting to appeal to younger recruits by framing white nationalism as an expression of heritage and duty. Patriot Front's activities revolve around propaganda campaigns, distributing flyers, hanging banners, and staging brief public demonstrations aimed at normalizing extremist ideas. Although its membership is relatively small, the organization has an outsized presence due to its disciplined operations and visibility. Identity Evropa, later rebranded as the American Identity Movement, AM, in 2019, was a white nationalist organization founded in 2016 by Nathan D'Amigo. The group promoted a vision of an ethnically homogeneous America, emphasizing European heritage and rejecting multiculturalism, immigration, and racial diversity. Unlike overtly violent neo-Nazi groups, Identity Evropa sought to recruit college students and young professionals through campus outreach, presenting itself as a mainstream white nationalist organization. The group focused on propaganda campaigns, such as distributing flyers, hanging banners, and producing online content to normalize its ideology and attract new members. Identity Evropa's messaging often combined appeals to heritage, identity, and Western values, masking its extremist goals under the guise of civic engagement and cultural preservation. While generally avoiding public violence, members were implicated in harassment and intimidation of minority students on campuses. Return to the Land is a whites-only community founded in Arkansas by Eric Orwell, rooted in neo-Nazi and white supremacist ideology. The group seeks to create an isolated, self-sufficient enclave exclusively for white individuals, combining elements of rural homesteading with extremist beliefs. Its ideology promotes racial separatism, anti-immigrant sentiment, and the preservation of a narrowly defined European heritage under the guise of cultural and historical preservation. Members of the community participate in agricultural and survival activities, aiming for autonomy from mainstream society while reinforcing their shared extremist worldview. Propaganda, recruitment, and social media promotion help attract like-minded individuals, often younger people drawn to both the survivalist and ideological aspects of the community. The group emphasizes internal cohesion, loyalty, and ideological purity, blending traditional homesteading with modern far-right organizational methods. By 2025, Return to the Land has expanded modestly, establishing connections with similar far-right enclaves in neighboring states, including Missouri. While small in numbers, the community serves as a model for contemporary racially exclusive settlements in the U.S. The National Socialist Movement, NSM, is one of the largest and oldest neo-Nazi organizations in the United States, founded in 1974 out of the remnants of earlier white supremacist networks. Its ideology is explicitly modeled on Adolf Hitler's National Socialism, calling for the establishment of a white-only state and the removal of immigrants, minorities, and Jewish communities from American society. For decades, the NSM has maintained a presence at rallies and demonstrations, often marked by the display of swastikas, Nazi uniforms, and paramilitary aesthetics. At its height in the early 2000s, the group attracted hundreds of members and organized nationwide events that drew widespread media attention. However, membership has declined significantly in recent years due to infighting, splintering, and public backlash against overt neo-Nazi symbolism. Despite its decline, the NSM remains influential as a symbolic force in the U.S. far-right ecosystem. It is rebranded at times, adopting less overt Nazi imagery, but its core ideology of racial separatism and anti-Semitism remains unchanged. The Aryan Freedom Network, AFN, is a neo-Nazi organization based in Texas that has gained traction in the 2020s as part of a resurgence of openly white supremacist activism in the United States. The group promotes a virulently racist, anti-Semitic, and ultranationalist ideology, advocating for the creation of a whites-only homeland and the violent overthrow of the U.S. government. Unlike more image-conscious groups, the AFN embraces overt Nazi symbols and rhetoric, seeking to recruit individuals already immersed in extremist beliefs. Led by hardened activists with ties to earlier hate networks, the AFN organizes rallies, training camps, and propaganda campaigns that mix racial separatism with paramilitary culture. Members frequently participate in firearms drills, survival training, and recruitment efforts designed to attract disaffected young men. Their propaganda glorifies past hate movements, including the Ku Klux Klan and the National Socialist Movement, while attempting to rebrand them for a modern audience. By 2025, the Aryan Freedom Network has grown into one of the most active neo-Nazi groups in the country, capitalizing on political polarization and social unrest.